we're going to get right into conduct of business. I know we have some guests here from other local, state, and federal agencies, but before I recognize them, I would like to get right into recognizing our outgoing elected officials, beginning with John Marty.
Mr. Mayor, honorable council members, I wanted to take a moment to thank you all. I've been here as your treasurer 11 and a half years. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I've learned so much. I'm glad I was in the office that day when then council member Ruane phoned and asked if I would be interested in taking the position. I do have to thank my wife Nancy and my children, because I remember distinctly that evening going home, telling them of my conversation with Jim, and all 5 of them encouraged me to do it. And then the next day I called you back and said, I'm in. So again, I thank you for that opportunity. Certain other individuals that were absolutely indispensable to me, the city clerk Carol kept me on the straight and narrow, made sure I was where I was supposed to be and reports were in on time, that sort of thing. Connie Jackson, also invaluable. Mark Zaffarano, too, as well. And a gentleman who unfortunately is not here, Jim O'Leary, absolutely invaluable in educating me. Never having had a government type position before, he really educated me on a lot of different things that frankly I was unaware of. But anyway, all those individuals were invaluable. But there's one more unsung person too I want to recognize, Jennifer Dianos, the assistant to Connie. More than once, yeah, absolutely, give her a round of applause. On more than one occasion, she very subtly reminded me where I had to be. So I thank her for that. So anyway, all of you, it's been a pleasure. I'm not going anywhere. I still live on Glen Avenue. No plans to move. But thank you all.
Thank you, John. Retiring City Clerk Carol Bonner.
I'm going to be longer than John. Mayor and Council. Back in 1989, 1993, I ran for City Clerk. 1997, I contemplated running for City Clerk. After that time, I decided to give it up and never do it again. In 2005, Ed Simon came and contacted me and asked me to run. Additionally, his deputy, Vicky, contacted me, and she found an envelope that had the date 1973 on it, and it said, call Carol or Jesse, because she was my babysitter. So with her encouragement and the encouragement of my husband, I ran for City Clerk again. And it's been 12 years, and it's been absolutely wonderful. I couldn't do it without my husband. My kids were against me running because they thought I'd never handle it, but I handled it. And then having Vicky was the best thing that could have happened. She was there for me all the whole time. Additionally, I do have to go back to 1989. My campaign manager at that time was Jim Ruane, and while I lost, he got appointed to the Planning Commission. So what can I say? But it's been an absolute pleasure to work with him. There's almost a day that doesn't pass that he doesn't check on me and staff, which is really neat. I'd also like to thank the staff. I have grown so fond of all of them, and they work hard. Connie, I thank her, thank Mark Zaffarano. I just can't thank everybody enough, and it's just been a delight. I'm very glad, and I'm very glad to be here tonight to share it with you.
Vice Mayor Ken Ibarra.
Well, I want to thank him. While I get situated here, I want to thank everyone for being here. Usually, we're not used to having such a full house in such a positive environment. And you know what I mean. I have a prepared statement because there's just so many things that have happened in the last 21 plus years. So here goes. I'm going to do this. I'm at my own podium. So in April of 1996, I began my public service on the City Council. It was such a great honor to be appointed by my current colleagues, Mayor Ruane and Councilmember Irene O'Connell, along with former Mayor Ed Simon. It is an honor that I will cherish forever. However, it would never have been possible if it weren't for the years prior. Beginning in 1983, when I moved here to start our family and my architectural practice, I soon realized San Bruno's broad sense of community. The business community made up of many family-run businesses, the bedroom community as I designed numerous residential additions for expanding families, the faith and school community where I participated at St. Robert's Parish and school, the youth community where I helped coach track, volleyball, and softball, the service community when I joined those San Bruno Lions in 1992, and the public service community when I was appointed to the Traffic Safety and Parking Committee in 1990. So by 1996, I had established a solid stake in my home, San Bruno. I truly cared for our community, and I wanted to be as involved as I could to help make San Bruno better. I, along with my colleagues on the council, were committed to working together to make a difference. To sit here alongside Jim and Irene is a testament to teamwork, dedication, and in many cases, tough decisions. And we persevered through the years amongst challenges, criticism, and tragedy. For me, it was always personal. I felt responsible for many situations, even though I wasn't. I tried to make everyone happy, even though I couldn't. I took every issue very seriously, sometimes too seriously, and I did everything I could to represent the city and show our support to those throughout our community. I always wanted the best for San Bruno. I wanted nothing more than to be proud of my community, and I am. Many have asked me why I chose to stay on the council for so long. The simple answer is that I truly enjoyed it. Crazy me. The truth is that there was always something more to accomplish. I'm so proud of our accomplishments that I've been a part of. From partnering with Irene to create the youth committee, which led to providing daycare and after-school programs at our schools. From expanding our youth sports programs to creating the best summer day camp program around. From approving redevelopment to creating the crossing development, with hopefully the final piece being a hotel. From BART and the shops at Tan Fran to the Caltrain grade separation and station. And from creating the transit corridors plan to opening the community to smart and productive development. And that's just a small sample of the last 20 years. However, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the tragedy that changed our lives forever, the gas explosion. It was as if I lost my own family, but could not truly imagine the pain. I had a terrible sense of helplessness. I was very pleased when our staff and council agreed to fight PG&E, if only to avenge the deaths of 8 innocent fellow residents and the destruction of a neighborhood. I believe that even after 7 years, we have both saved lives and honored those families that suffered. Most recently, I have turned my attention to the housing crisis by finding out more on how best to plan and provide ways to stem the high cost of living in our city. I truly hope I have laid some groundwork and intend on staying involved to represent the interests of San Bruno. Now, all that is left is a long but condensed list of thank yous. Thank you to the residents and businesses of San Bruno, not only for your support, but for your mutual love for this community. Thank you to the countless San Bruno City staff members, many of them here tonight, our city clerks, city treasurers, and the many volunteers that I've had the privilege to know and work with. Thank you to my fellow elected officials throughout the region that I've had the pleasure to know and work, share, and learn from. More importantly, thank you to my mayors and fellow city council members who have been both policymakers and friends. Thank you to my special friends and mentors, and you know who you are. Thank you to my family for their sacrifices and support through this journey. Thank you to my mom, who they said that when you're at your lowest and in need, the best thing to do is to call your mother. Believe me, it works. But above all else, thank you to the love of my life, Amy, who is my biggest fan, my biggest critic, my best critic, and the only person who has made these past 21 years worthwhile because she was by my side. Lastly, I want to congratulate Laura Davis and Michael Salazar and thank them for their commitment. I wish my friends, Irene, Rico, and Marty, all the best as they continue their dedicated service. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been a long, fun ride, a far cry from the first campaign in 1995. I'm not sure where my next journey will be, but I intend on staying true and proud and involved in my home, San Bruno. May God bless you all and keep us healthy and happy. Thank you.
All right, my turn. Good evening. This will be one of the last times I will have the opportunity to say, I am Jim Ruane, the very proud mayor of the wonderful city of San Bruno. I will be thanking a number of people this evening during the course of my comments, but first and foremost, I want to thank my family. My wife, Noreen, who has stood by me during all of these years of involvement with this wonderful city. My son, Jim, and his wife, Monica, and my three grandsons, Gavin, Patrick, and Brendan, and my daughter, Stephanie, and her husband, Dan, and my littlest grandson, Ryan. As anyone in elected office knows, no matter how hard you try, you always bring the city's life into your private life, and my family was no different. It was just over 24 years ago when former Mayor Bob Marshall and his wife, Paula, and Councilmember Beverly Barnard suggested that I should apply for an open position on the Planning Commission. I did and was appointed and had the pleasure of working with that great body, some of whom are still active in the commission today. I didn't feel comfortable with the direction of the city at that time and figured I would run for a seat to see if I could make a difference. That was 22 years ago, and I haven't looked back. I could talk for hours about all that we as a city have been through, but don't worry, I won't. Just some highlights. I want to thank my treasurer, a very special gentleman, Rob Avison, for his work with me over the last 22 years. Thank you, Rob. I want to thank prior and current department heads, staff, all city employees, and all of the members of our commissions, boards, and committees, especially City Attorney Mark Zaffarano for keeping us on the straight and narrow. You are a truly professional group of people, and people do not appreciate the sincerity and diligence with which you perform your jobs in making this city the vibrant community it is today. Also, a special thank you this evening and welcome to former Mayor Larry Franzella. Thank you, Larry. I can look back now on a few of the things that were so important then. A firing range at the San Francisco jail that through my collaboration with then San Francisco Sheriff Mike Hennessy was removed and relocated. The fact that San Bruno didn't have a redevelopment agency, which was enacted in the late 90s and only to be dismantled by the governor. A treacherous and dangerous Caltrain crossing that with the help of hundreds of citizens who worked very hard was replaced by the great separation we have today, and by the way, at no cost to San Bruno. The development of the crossing that without the vision of a progressive developer and a city council could still be a piece of vacant land. Our new and collaborative partnerships with high tech, YouTube and Walmart e-commerce to name a few, they didn't exist 22 years ago. Looking back, I realize we really have come a long way with a ways to go. I look forward to the opening of our new hotel. It will be built. and the development currently taking place all around us with an increased focus on affordable housing, especially for our teachers. Of course, I would be remiss if I didn't say a few words about the tragic PG&E explosion of September 9, 2010. It took the lives of 8 of our citizens, destroyed a neighborhood, and embroiled us in a legal and regulatory campaign that has taken on national proportions. I have always said that something good has to come out of all of this, and I believe there are numerous things that fit that category. I will highlight 2. First, the San Bruno Community Foundation, formed with the restitution funds negotiated with PG&E. We will confirm shortly the consultants for our new pool and recreation center being built to benefit the entire community of San Bruno. And secondly, what I believe is a new attitude of safety at the very utility that caused this tragedy. Under new leadership, I believe there is the will and the way to turn this utility around. I have made it known that just because I am retiring as your mayor, I will still be very vigilant with regards to pipeline safety, and am willing to participate in any way I can to help clean up the generational wrongdoings of utilities, regulators, and rule makers. 2 things I would like to see enacted by our new council. We are installing a new state-of-the-art deck outdoors here at our senior center, and since he enjoyed this facility and was one of the founders of his center, I would like our new council to consider naming this new outdoor center of enjoyment after former Mayor Bob Marshall. And I would also like to see one of our wells named after my former colleague, Chris Pallas, who always said, "Water is life." In closing, I want to congratulate our new mayor and council members, as well as thank all elected officials I have associated with, city, county, state, and national. This is the largest turnover in new members in this council I can remember, and I know I leave this city in very good hands. One last thank you to City Manager Connie Jackson, who is one of the hardest working individuals I have ever met. Her guidance, partnership, and friendship will always be remembered. And to all of the people of San Bruno, the city with a heart, from the bottom of my heart, it has been a privilege and an honor to serve you as your council member and mayor. Thank you. Thank you very much. 2 of our council members have a few words to say. Marty Medina.
Very, very short. I want to thank you both for your dedication and service to our city, and especially thank the sacrifices that you made and that your family made. 20 years, that's 20 plus years, that's incredible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marty. And now your mayor-elect, Rico Medina.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First and foremost, want to acknowledge, and Carol, it's good to see you, and thank you for all of your 12 years as we embarked upon a campaign in '05, as we crossed each other on the paths of San Bruno and won. And it's been a joy to have you be there and always hear the best comments about you and the staff and the warmth that they feel when they call and engage City Hall. Mr. Marty, John, and Nancy, who I've known for many years, your passion and your dedication are without question, and always thinking forward for the city and thinking for its best interests at heart, not only in the Treasury Department of City Hall and Finance, but in others. So thank you. To my colleagues on the council, Vice Mayor Ibarra and Mayor Wayne, when you enter into this office and you go to your first closed session, as I did 12 years ago, and Irene was there and we had it, I said, "So this is it, huh?" It was, of course, an eye-opener. So when you come in and serve and realize the oath that you've taken to serve and protect, as well as to aid and assist the community that has elected you to public office. It is a huge honor. But what makes it easier, what makes you get by these times, is when you have your colleagues with you that you can respect, that you can talk to, that, yes, become friends. You also get to know the true people. And without hesitation or reservation, I can tell you that these two men that I've been honored to serve with for 12 years have the integrity and the passion and the love for the city they call home, without any doubt. It has been something, I thought it was hard when Larry Franzella left, and now I'm having two of my colleagues leave. What is great is I know, and they have told me, they aren't far. And if we need them, they're willing to help, as they always have, at all levels. And I take that sincerely, and I appreciate that. I also know, Jim, Mr. Mayor, that you'll be watching at home at times if you're not with the grandkids. And I'm hoping in the back of my head I do you right and you're not laughing on the other end of the TV, watching me conduct a meeting. But I've learned a lot from you too. You've meant the world to me. You've done great for this community. And we have been honored to have you serve for 21 and 22 plus years. So from the bottom of my heart, as your colleague, I want to thank you very much. And as mayor-elect, I also have one other duty, and that is to present a token of our appreciation on behalf of the staff, on behalf of the council and this community. It acknowledges your service to this community, and it is with great admiration and respect that on behalf of the city as your mayor-elect, I can offer that to all four of you this evening. And once again, thank you for all that you've done, for the sacrifices you've made, and for the commitment you've given and the residents that you've helped in your public service life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rico. Connie, would you like to say a few things and introduce some special guests we have?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a number of individuals in the audience tonight that would like to make some comments, including myself, after the other visitors tonight. And first, we would like to ask Senator Jerry Hill to come forward, and then after him, Assemblymember Kevin Mullen, and after that, Katrina Real of Jackie Spears' office.
Thank you, Connie. And I think, we have and really want to, in the celebration of this evening, to celebrate the four of you in a way that I think is special, and this is a very special occasion. And we have, for Carol, something that, you're the first face that people see when they come into the city, when they have questions. You're the first, the kind of the opportunity for people to get information. And you've always met them. And as I've walked in, I've experienced that warm smile that you brought to everyone. You made people who were anxious, were upset about what was happening to them perhaps, or they felt that the city was causing them some harm somehow or costing them money, but you always calmed them and brought them the security that they needed and the information that they needed. So we're going to miss you. San Bruno's going to miss you. And we have a resolution for you to really show the state's appreciation of the great work that you've done for San Bruno and for everyone in the community, because you set an example to so many people, Carol. Thank you. Kevin?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and Council. It is an honor to be with you tonight, a bigger honor to represent San Bruno and the California State Assembly. Just a couple of words on behalf of the Assembly for Carol upon her retirement as she completes her third term as City Clerk, the repository of the city's documents of record. She too has earned the trust and confidence of her colleagues as displayed tonight, and has set a very high standard for those who will follow her in this office. On behalf of the State Assembly, Carol, we are grateful and we thank you for your service.
John, you kept everything going. You were the man with the money, which is how can you succeed anywhere, especially in government, without the funds necessary to do the great things for the city of San Bruno. And the best part is that you worked hard to get the best return on those dollars as well. And we've watched that over the years. So we want to thank you and congratulate you on the great service to the city of San Bruno and the wonderful work that you've done in terms of preserving those resources and making sure that that the city could succeed and have the movement and the power to go forward, and that power is in the money that you were able to gain and earn with the resources that you had. So thank you very much for that, and the best part is the money's still there. That's another good thing that I think we're all very appreciative of. And we have a resolution for you. We just don't have it here. It's actually stuck in the mail between Sacramento and San Bruno right now. So we have it prepared, and we will be giving it to you as soon as it comes. Kevin?
Thank you so much. Just my 2 cents about our treasurer, John Marty, who has managed the city's finances in a competent and consistent manner, investing the citizens' revenues to obtain the best return in the safest manner possible. He has earned the respect of his colleagues and leaves the city financially stable and very well positioned for the future. And I will throw myself on my sword. It's the Assembly that has not executed the transition or the transfer of the resolution, but it is in the mail and on its way, I promise you. So thank you, sir, for your service. The senator was too kind. But John, we are grateful on behalf of the Assembly for your tremendous service in this community. Thank you, sir.
And Ken, Councilmember Rivera, how many years has it been where we have gone to Council of Cities dinners, where we have talked about issues that have come up, and how you have been a voice of reason on the councils of the peninsula, and especially in San Mateo County, as you've held them together with I think the glue that you have kind of fostered throughout the time that you have served in this city. And it's a great city, and it's the reason that it is a great city today. And moving forward is because of your hard work, Ken, and the commitment that you made early on. And it was wonderful listening to your comments about how you got to where you are today in working with your colleagues, but more importantly, the vision that you had and what you would like to see for the city of San Bruno. And you worked so hard to bring it to that reality today. And so thank you, and on behalf of the state legislature, we want to recognize and honor you for that commitment. And unfortunately, your resolution is stuck in the Assembly getting it here as well. So we will make sure that you get that presentation when it arrives. But it has truly been an honor to work with you on so many issues, so many areas, and to always just feel a friendship that you don't find often in government or in politics, but we had it, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Ken.
And again, on behalf of the State Assembly, it is my honor to recognize Ken Ibarra. Ken has shown that in unpredictable times, he is predictably strong, stable, competent, and reliable. As a former councilman and still neighbor in South San Francisco, Councilman Ibarra is a little bit like family for those of us who are neighbors. I've seen how the dedication and commitment to San Bruno over his tenure has prepared him to lead this community. So enjoy your retirement, Ken. I will somehow get my hands on your resolution. Maybe I'll see you at Jack's and personally present it to you. But we are grateful for a job very well done.
I think Kevin will take us all to Jack's for dinner over this because of the delay.
You better not come up with a resolution for this guy.
Well, actually, we do because that was the because it was the Senate. It was the Senate's responsibility to have Jim's and Carol's resolutions prepared. It was the Assembly's to have yours and John's. So he's responsible for it there. But Mr. Mayor, it has been just a delight from the beginning. Those years ago, as we started together almost on the city council and talking and chatting and discussing issues and trying to see how we could do it better in our city, learning from each other in those issues. And that was a very special relationship. But the relationship got more special a few years ago. And it was highlighted by certainly the tragedy that we all witnessed in San Bruno and the pain that the community had and suffered that we all witnessed. And we witnessed it at that moment. But what comes to mind for me is the champion you have been for pipeline safety, for honesty, for credibility in government, in a regulatory body, and how you've traveled the country fostering those issues, promoting the safety of pipelines, not wanting any other community to suffer what San Bruno did. And what really, to me, I think, signified the type of person you are, the leadership that you show and express, was that few days after the explosion, when we were all as a community gathered at St. Robert. And we were sitting there, and the church was filled. And there was anger, you could feel it. There were tears. There was sniffling that you could hear. There was upset all around. People were angry, upset, fearful, they were scared, and you led them. You showed with your ability to calm, to take charge, and be the leader that we all knew and now know so clearly you are and were. You have made this community so proud of everything you have done. But that day really showed the type of person that you are, because you were in control, and you have been since that day. And this community, all this community, is grateful for that. I just finished, again, for the second time, reading John F. Kennedy's Profiles in Courage that he wrote in the 1950s, I think 1956. And as you look at all of those individuals that are highlighted, there's one missing, and that's you, Jim. You are a profile in courage. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, for so beautifully capturing the essence of Mayor Jim Ruane. On behalf of the State Assembly, it is my distinct honor and privilege to recognize the significant contributions to San Bruno made by Mayor Jim Ruane. He truly was the right mayor at the right time. He exhibited profound leadership in a time of crisis that set an example for other leaders in local government and has been recognized at the county, state, and yes, national level. Simply put, we are all grateful grateful for your stellar leadership, Mayor Ruane, and your service will never be forgotten.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Katrina Rill, and I am here to thank the four of you for your service on behalf of Congresswoman Jackie Spear. I have congressional certificates for you, Carol. And I want to second what Senator Hill was saying earlier. You are the face of City Hall. And we connected, through this whole experience. We certainly did. So it was the earrings, and I don't wear 5 anymore. The Congresswoman today also read extended remarks into the congressional record about the mayor and the vice mayor. Now, when I say extended remarks, I mean it. They are 700 words or more each. So I'm not going to read the entire document. We would be here all evening. But I would like to allow you to let me read a few excerpts from both of those congressional records. But before I do, I want to send best regards from Brian Perkins from our office. And I also want to say that I started working for Congresswoman Spear in April of 2010. And then, of course, in September, the explosion happened. And that event shaped my job and profoundly touched my life. And I cannot tell you how humbled and proud and just honored I was to work with all of you, the entire city of San Bruno, through this horrible, horrible tragedy. And it just created this incredible bond and this connection that I feel for all of you. And I am just so grateful. You are amazing public servants and amazing human beings. So now let me take just a few minutes to read from the congressional records. Let me start with Ken. Mr. Speaker and members, I rise today to celebrate the accomplishments of an uncommonly generous man who has donated countless hours to his community in both public and private life. Ken Ibarra, the Vice Mayor of the City of San Bruno, is leaving public office after 21 years. To say that Ken will be missed is an understatement. I'm going to skip towards the end because a lot of the things that the Congresswoman is talking about have already been mentioned. It takes a special type of person to file for re-election in the year after the trust of your fellow citizens has been rocked to its core by a fatal corporate wrongdoing. Always you must ask yourself, is it worth it? Ken filed and was re-elected. However, as a local government official under these circumstances, you lose sleep, shed tears, publicly and privately grieve, and try to help your community focus on tomorrow and its possibilities while its citizens are constantly haunted by the past. Ken Ibarra is a true leader, as demonstrated by the enormous empathy and devotion that he showed to his neighbors and constituents through numerous public meetings, private deliberations, and policy choices leading to recovery of San Bruno. Ken Ibarra is leaving civic life, but we who know him know that civic engagement will never leave Ken Ibarra. He's a skilled architect of both structures and civic pride. We wish him well as he enters another phase of his life where he will undoubtedly pursue both crafts for years to come. And our resolutions are not stuck in the mail. One here. Okay. Okay, Jim.
Katrina.
These are the words of Jackie Spear, not me. But I feel the same, obviously. Mr. Speaker and members, I rise today to celebrate the accomplishments and uncommonly just read this, I'm sorry. Mr. Speaker and members, I rise today to recognize the extraordinary public service of Jim Ruane, the mayor of San Bruno, California, who's leaving office after 22 years of unparalleled leadership, 8 of them as mayor. His wisdom, eloquence, and devotion to civic leadership will be sorely missed by the 43,000 residents of his beloved community by the Bay. I'm also going to skip through a lot of the accomplishments, and it's not all PG&E. And it reflects something that you mentioned earlier. I am firmly convinced that the leadership of San Bruno, and importantly, all of the council members and city staff during these years, did our nation a public service by independently seeking justice in this case. Notably, Jim Ruane was the ever-present face of conviction. He remained absolutely convinced that America's legal system would allow a mouse to roar. And roar, we did. We, as Congress, have failed to learn the lessons of San Bruno and have repeatedly failed to cure the defects in federal statutes that contributed to the San Bruno catastrophe. However, the action of the city of San Bruno have made America safer by forcing management to consider safety in pipeline operations. Today, I rise to celebrate Mayor Jim Ruane, a man like few others. He's quiet and wise in normal times, but imbued with a natural command presence during times of exigency. In my book, he's one of our local heroes. With his departure, we thank him for bringing justice to us all, crafted like the best plaster ornament his company creates in his daily work, and enduring beauty for every citizen to behold.
Good evening. My name's Dave Pine. I have the privilege of representing San Bruno on the San Mateo County Board of Supervisors. I come with all 4 plaques. You all have given many plaques out, so we need to make sure that we reciprocate this evening. It really has been a privilege to represent San Bruno, and I have learned that this is a very special community led by a very special team of elected and city leaders. And this evening is a historic evening in that, if I've done the math right, 66 years of experience, leadership contributed to this community is moving on. And we've heard tonight about the amazing accomplishments of this leadership team. And you should be very proud of that. We are very proud of what you've accomplished. And the way this community and this leadership team responded to the tragedy of the explosion inspired all of us in that you healed your community and then stepped further to make this nation safer. So Carol, as has been mentioned, it's been always a pleasure to see you in City Hall, and you have done your work very ably, as recognized in 2014 when the City Clerks Association gave you an award of excellence. John, we were very fortunate that you brought your financial expertise to this city for so many years. It is the foundation of all we do in government. Ken, you are the epitome of a community servant, of a community volunteer. I don't know if there's anyone quite like you in the San Mateo County. I suspect your presence at events and on Facebook will probably not diminish. You're a remarkable servant to your community. And Jim Ruane, you are a gifted leader. I am really in awe of the way you brought this community together and worked for the good of the community and the nation after the tragedy. I've had the opportunity to listen to you speak about that event on many occasions, and I've always been so struck by your eloquence and your leadership and your love for this community. So I thank all four of you and really honor your public service. Public service is sometimes not quite in high regard as it should be, but when you look at individuals like we are honoring tonight, that's what public service is about. So I have, again, a proclamation for each of you. May I just hand those to you now, and thank you.
That was a funny laugh out there. Oh, good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Councils, members of the audience. I am here tonight to say congratulations and thank you, Mayor Wayne and Kenny Barra, Councilmember Barra. As the new superintendent and probably one of the newest members of the community here in San Bruno, I learned early on after my arrival of the legacy that each of you has created in San Bruno regarding your tireless service to our community, both as elected officials and as volunteers for the San Bruno city. Excuse me. Most importantly, for the children of San Bruno, your support on the council of the school district has made significant impact on the educational opportunities our students enjoy. The programs the city of San Bruno provides in the area of library and recreation services are outstanding, ranging from our after-school homework and extended care centers, to the summer Big Lift program, to the city's partnership to provide joint use fields for soccer, and providing the necessary maintenance to make these activities available to the students in the community year-round. Under your leadership, the city has made available to our low-income community members access to the internet, necessary for 21st century teaching and learning, and provided through San Bruno Cable through reduced fees, and the partnership with Recology San Bruno, who has been a true partner in working with our schools to teach our young about protecting our precious environment. The police department has proactively engaged with our schools, addressing safety concerns and teaching our students and parents about mutual respect. This past summer, I was able to attend the first annual Firefighter Day program offered by our fire department, a summer workshop for our students, teaching them about fire safety, precaution, a little bit about STEM education, and the opportunity to become a future firefighter. And just yesterday, our fire department was on site at Allen to support the annual egg drop event. The guys got quite a workout, having to climb up the 100-foot ladder to launch the eggs, and all but one broke. No, excuse me, none but one. 7 of 8 survived the fall. Sorry. Just this past month, in partnership with the city and the school district, we transported up to Sonoma County school supplies that we had collected to help the victims of the recent fire. The list goes on and on, underscoring a strong partnership between the school district and the city, which has evolved under your leadership. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, our teachers, and the parents, thank you for your exemplary leadership on the council to support and encourage our city's greatest treasure, our children. The longevity of your service to San Bruno has required considerable personal sacrifice. I want to thank your families who are here this evening as well for that. We wish you and your family much happiness in your retirement from elected service, and we look forward to each of you staying engaged as citizens to support the mission and goals of the San Bruno Park School District. Thank you.
Thank you, Stella.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I wanted to make a few brief comments, and then I know we have members of our police and fire departments that would like to also make some comments, and I'm sure there are members of the audience also. So this will continue for just a little bit longer. I hope you are feeling celebrated as you justly deserve. On behalf of the city staff, it's my very great pleasure to be able to recognize all 4 of our outgoing elected officials whose tenure and whose extreme contributions to our community of San Bruno not only have moved San Bruno forward economically, physically, and in terms of the strength of our community spirit in ways that are actually way too numerous to be able to detail tonight. But your length of service and your profound commitment to San Bruno has provided a stable policy and operating platform that allows us as staff to do the very best job that we can in pursuit of the well-being of the community we serve. John, City Treasurer, you spearheaded a change in our investment strategy that allowed us to maximize returns on our investments without compromising safety. Your initiative has made a strong contribution to our economic stability, and we appreciate that. Carol, not only have you fulfilled the important responsibilities that the law prescribes as custodian of our city records under the many and relatively arcane and complicated regulations, but you will always be recognized and appreciated as an integral member of our staff team. You're always friendly, welcoming face at City Hall, not only assisted those who needed help in navigating our bureaucracy in doing business with the city to accomplish that, but also, as one of our staff members said, allowed them to feel as if their day just got a bit brighter. Thank you. Mr. Vice Mayor, Ken, you seem always to have the pulse of the community. You're always out there as a volunteer, not only in your policy role as a city council member, but also in the myriad of activities that you've undertaken in support of this community. Your passion for policymaking and for volunteer service for those who need our services the most will always be remembered and appreciated and will have a lasting influence. Jim, Mr. Mayor, Jim, you doubtless didn't expect when you ran for the mayor's position in 2009 that less than a year later your world would be turned upside down and our community would be thrust into the national spotlight. Your brave, bold, wise, and compassionate leadership, both during and after the explosion, not only provided an example for all of us, but allowed us to have the strength and the courage to move forward. So while this has always been about advocacy for safety, or while this has been about advocacy for safety and reform, and you have dedicated yourself tirelessly and passionately to that, it's really always been about San Bruno, taking care of the people of San Bruno and doing the best that you could possibly do. So again, on behalf of San Bruno's staff, we thank you for your trust, for your confidence, for your leadership has not only made San Bruno better, but it has shown the world how government is supposed to operate. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. It's a pleasure to be here, and we have a few tokens of appreciation on behalf of the men and women of the San Bruno Police Department. Just a few thoughts. Madam Clerk, not only are you the face of City Hall, that's very true, but you're also the voice of City Hall. And if a police chief needs to know how well or poorly he happens to be doing that particular week, the clerk is always there to let him know, which is extremely valuable. And your love and commitment to our city has made it a better place. It's made me better at what I do, and I thank you for everything that you've done. So thank you very much. Mr. Treasurer, our quiet reliance on what you do often results in a lack of vocal appreciation. And please know that appreciation is always there. The confidence we have in where the city is at allows us to do our job effectively, and that we are not blind to that, and we truly appreciate everything you've done. So thank you very much. Mr. Vice Mayor, the manner in which you lead as well, how you're approachable, and again, always, every event, you're there, you're contributing, you're part of the community, truly sets an example for all of us who do this every day, and motivates us to be that involved and serve the city as best we can. So thank you very much for everything you've done. And Mr. Mayor, a lot's been said about your leadership, and I couldn't agree more. Not only in times of crisis, but on a day-to-day regular basis. Your uncanny knack of communication, your talent for communicating with people is felt throughout the organization and the city from top to bottom. You're truly the voice of reason in working through all types of issues on a regular basis. And you've been the rock that the city's leaned on for some time. And we couldn't be more appreciative for your service and what you've done for the city. So thank you very much. Thank you. On behalf of the men and women of the San Bruno Police Department, we do have a plaque. I don't know if you're going to have enough room on the walls, but we're hoping we can fit in somewhere, as well as a commemorative coin and the patch we wear on our arm, which we're pretty proud of, and we don't hand out very easily. So I hope that you have someplace nice that you can store it, and we couldn't be more grateful for what you've done for all of us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Honorable Council. Dave Cresser representing the fire department tonight, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank all our outgoing members for their service. John, Marty, we have a brand new engine and fire truck parked out front. I'm sure that some of the stuff you do has something to do with that, so we're very much appreciative about that. And Carol, as it's been said many times, you are the face of San Bruno, and you have been a help to the fire department over the years, and me personally, as I represented the Community Preparedness Committee, and your guidance through that time has been much appreciated. So thank you very much for your service. Vice Mayor and Mr. Mayor, your 20-plus years of service and dedication and your steady leadership during that time, your understanding and passion about public safety and the fire department in general has been appreciated by the fire department. As someone who's been here as an employee that whole time, I know myself and my family appreciates that leadership. We've been through tough times and good times, but as far as I know, we've never had to lay anybody off, and we've weathered all those storms. And I know that's not consistent up and down the peninsula or in a lot of other communities, so I really appreciate your service. Mr. Mayor, having had the opportunity to travel with you to the Mayor's Pipeline Conference in Philadelphia and hearing some of the other members speak about your efforts as well as Connie's and other members of city staff was really impressive to me personally. And on behalf of all the fire department members, I want to thank you. There's something we call command presence in public safety, and it's kind of how you stand, or how it's not so much what you do or how you say it, but it's how you look and how you represent yourself. And in the minutes, hours, and days and months and years after that, you dedicated that command presence, and for that we're much appreciated. And we'd just like to give you, all of you, we have honorable shirts to give, and for the mayor we have a fire chief.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Rico, you can get one of those?
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Well, I thought yeah, I know. I thought there'd be a line here, and can people hear? I feel like you can't hear. Okay, good. I want to thank all four of you for your public service. A lot has been said, and I concur with all that praise. But for a second, I would just like to use this opportunity to publicly thank Ken Ibarra for over 20 years of service to the city of San Bruno. And I know you've heard a lot of that tonight. Ken is a dedicated public servant, and it's been mentioned. And I just wanted to put in, I'm not going to give my whole 700 words like Jackie, but I do have them. But it's been mentioned, St. Robert's, coaching, the festival, being in charge of it, girls softball, everyone in the San Bruno Park School District for the last several boards, they know who he is. Ask anyone at Cappuccino High School who he is, they know too. But what I'd love to mention is Lyons. Lyons is my competition for his heart and his devotion in addition to his service to the city. And what's interesting is that he's quite well known and quite a VIP in Lyons, and they have events all the time, and there's elected officials there, and they make the biggest fuss over all the elected officials
And he has never been introduced as a city official, an elected official, at any Lions event. It's always past District Governor Ken, because that's bigger to them. And you've seen the Lions and their presence with the Posey Parade, which he has chaired, and Music in the Park, which he's not just listening to, he's cooking. And, you know, he does a lot of that stuff, and I feel like I need to say that. He continues to recognize the people in Glenview, and always will, and yet he really appreciates the value of all the business owners and residents of San Bruno. That's just as important. And it's been mentioned he's a full-time architect, and I know, Irene, you're big on beautification, and I always say to Ken, you have your own beautification plan, because there isn't one street in San Bruno that doesn't have a house that Ken Ibarra hasn't redesigned. I'm so proud of that. Like most political couples, we've had our arguments, and it's really never been over politics. It's never been, you know, how many meetings do you have to go to, how many hours you're going to be out there. I can tell you, any spouse in the room of a politician can tell you that's probably the biggest deal that they have to disagree about. What we usually disagree about is an issue that he's not a part of, and he'll tell me about it, and I'll say to him, why aren't you on that committee? Why isn't that something you're doing? Why aren't you involved with that? We've always understood each other's methods of prioritizing. It's different than most people, and I think it's what keeps us together, and I know that it's what keeps us both active. I'm so proud of you and your dedication to the city of San Bruno. We both know that the city remains in very capable hands so that you can retire with a clear conscience. It's going to be a great group coming up. I'm very excited. I don't know what the next chapter is for you, but I know it isn't going to be boring, and I know it isn't going to be self-serving. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the cookies are there, but I guess we have another speaker.
One more.
Please.
Recology San Bruno would like to thank you for your years of support while serving as mayor and council member. Together, you have voted in favor of recycling in San Bruno, and in most recent years brought organic recycling to San Bruno, setting us apart from others. Your passion for the environment while keeping your residents' wants and concerns as a top priority has always been evident. I also want to thank you personally for your support. I took on the challenge as general manager of Recology in 2010, filling the really big shoes of Mario Puccinelli. You've always made me feel very welcome at the podium. And you've also allowed me to foster my own relationships both personally and professionally with each of you. On behalf of myself and Recology San Bruno, we wish you continued health and happiness in your new chapters to come.
Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you. Anyone else?